What we're looking at here is the southern steps. You can see here the southern steps, and this is where they used to walk into the temple. And just around here is the rest of where we are going today. So you can see everywhere where it is surrounded by walls, that is of course the old city. And this huge massive section here is actually where the temple used to be. Now it is the Dome of the Rock. Shalom, and welcome to All Israel Gems. I'm Oriel, and today I'm standing at one of the most remarkable archaeological sites in Jerusalem, the Jerusalem Archaeological Park, also known as the Davidson Center. Behind me, you can see the magnificent southern steps, which once served as the main entrance to the Temple Mount. This extraordinary site spans over 5,000 years of history, from the Canaanite age through the First and Second Temple periods, all the way to the Byzantine and Muslim eras. What makes this location particularly special is that these stones you see around us have witnessed some of the most pivotal moments in biblical history. The southern steps you see rising before us are the original stairs that pilgrims would ascend to enter the temple during the Second Temple period. Some of these steps are replicas because they were destroyed, but most are the actual steps where countless Jewish worshippers, including Yeshua himself, would have walked. Can you imagine standing where the Messiah once stood? It's a truly profound experience. So guys, that's the Mount of Olives, just for perspective. The Mount of Olives, so where Yeshua would go and pray, where he was taken towards this city to be crucified, the city of David, and then of course behind us, that's where the temple was. So I want you guys to think about when Yeshua was looking towards the city, when he would pray, he would see that view, which used to be the temple. Notice something unique about these stairs. They're intentionally designed with irregular depths, forcing pilgrims to walk mindfully and deliberately as they approach the presence of God. This wasn't just an architectural feature, it was a spiritual tool, encouraging reflection and preparation before entering the sacred space. At the base of these steps, archaeologists have discovered over 50 ritual baths, or mikvehs. This extraordinary concentration of purification pools tells us something significant about ancient Jewish practice. Before ascending these steps to the temple, pilgrims would immerse themselves in these mikvehs to achieve ritual purity. It was part of a carefully orchestrated journey of spiritual preparation. So here is a really good example of a mikveh. Of course, now it's empty, but you would walk in one side and out the other. So you'd basically walk down here. The water would start at a certain point. You would go all the way in and come out of the other side like that, with the temple being there. These are real stones. You can tell that they're very worn out, that millions of people would walk into. Just behind me is an ancient Herodian street dating back more than 2,000 years. This was Jerusalem's main thoroughfare during the Second Temple period. Picture this street bustling with pilgrims, merchants, and teachers. According to Christian tradition, this very area is where Yeshua would have turned the tables of the money changers and driven out those selling doves, as described in Matthew 21. Now imagine yourself, you're like, I want to buy an animal to sacrifice. And imagine, of course, this was covered like that, all the way to the top of those shops. And all of this was not destroyed. You know, those stones had never fallen. This was just a paved walk. You would come all the way over here and you would buy from here. You would have come through these walls, through this little archway, to my table, and I would have given you that receipt to what you wanted. You would go to the second place over here, or in the other place, excuse me. Opa. And over here, you would have tied with that little rope, you would have the example of the different animals from over here, and you would look in and see what we would want. And then when you go up into the temple, so on the other side of that wall, you would sacrifice to God. It's also the very same place where Yeshua reminded us all that it wasn't about the physical sacrifice that you could have given to God, but it was about the purity and the intention of your heart. Now we have the privilege of having Yeshua dwell in us. Back then, this was the closest place that they could get to his presence. And it's a stark reminder to us that Yeshua went to the cross, sacrificed himself, so that we no longer had to sacrifice animals up at the temple, and that he would be the closest to our heart because he dwells inside of us. One of the most striking features of this archaeological park is the massive stone blocks scattered throughout the site. These enormous stones were once part of the Temple Mount walls, knocked down by Roman forces during the destruction of the temple in 70 AD. They have remained exactly where they fell for nearly 2,000 years, a sobering reminder of the prophecy fulfilled in Luke 21, where Yeshua predicted that not one stone would be left on another. The southeastern corner of the Temple Mount, visible from here, has traditionally been identified as the pinnacle of the temple, the very spot where Satan tempted Yeshua to throw himself down, as recorded in Matthew 4. The first-century Jewish historian Josephus described this corner as having such a dizzying height that it would cause vertigo to anyone looking down. So that's the Al-Aqsa Mosque behind me. Okay, I feel slightly dizzy, and now I understand what Yeshua was feeling, or what Josephus was talking about when he said that when you would stand here, that you feel a bit dizzy, because when you look down, I think it was supposed to be on that, where am I? On that corner or something of that, either that or over here. There's a corner that the devil would take Yeshua up to, and he would tempt him, and he would show him the whole kingdom, right? So, City of David is down there, now it's Silwan, but he would show him everything, right? So like this was all of Jerusalem and everything that was outside of the city walls, which is over here. But he showed him everything, and he's like, I will give you all of this. All of this I'll give to you. Mount of Olives behind me. And yet Yeshua says, it already belongs to me. That was what he was saying in the Bible, essentially. He's saying, it already belongs to me. And he crushed the devil under his foot when he went to the cross and regained the ultimate authority of everything for humankind, because it needed a sacrifice that had the blood of Yeshua, who was both man and God, to do that for us. How incredible. He stood here and he said no to all of it, because he knew that God was already the ruler of this place, and that if he sacrificed himself, he would gain control over it for our sakes again. How amazing. Inside the Davidson Center Museum, modern technology brings ancient Jerusalem to life through virtual reconstructions and interactive exhibits. The center houses numerous artifacts discovered during excavations, including items from daily life during the Second Temple period. These displays help us understand the cultural and religious context of Yeshua's ministry in a tangible way. Many believers who visit here are moved to tears as they connect physically with the world of the Bible. In fact, when Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, visited these southern steps, he was so overcome with emotion that he declared this experience more meaningful than walking on the lunar surface. After all, while only 12 men have walked on the moon, our Messiah Yeshua certainly walked on these very steps. As we stand here today, we're not just observing history, we're connecting with it. These stones tell the story of God's faithfulness to Israel throughout the ages. Despite destruction and exile, the Jewish people have returned to this land, and these ancient steps have been uncovered to testify the truth of biblical accounts. Thank you for joining us at the Jerusalem Archaeological Park and Davidson Center. For more Israel-related content, please subscribe to this channel and follow us on allisrael.com. Until next time, Shalom from Jerusalem.